Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have got an awesome orchid in bloom. This has taken me many years to get to this size and to have it bloom like this for us. This is a Bulbophyllum Phalaenopsis, and yeah, it's great. It's an interesting way that I grow it. I want to share that with you. It's been in other videos before, but never with these flowers. So this is the first time I've seen these flowers close up. As I say, it's never bloomed before, so they stink. They smell like dead something. It's not as strong as I thought, but it definitely stinks. These things are so unique. Oh, it does stink. I brought it down from the top shelf to do this video, and it's the first time I've actually smelt it. I was going into this video thinking it wasn't smelling at all, but it does. It's ugh. So anyways, what I'm going to do though is, instead of showing it to you like this, I want to actually hang this up so we can get a good look at everything, and then I can talk about the care and culture a little bit more, and do it that way because it's just easier and it gives you kind of a better, more stable view. I can focus in on stuff and that sort of thing. So Bulbophyllum Phalaenopsis in bloom for the first time. Taking me years to do this. Let's have a look at it and see how I grow it. Alright, so I just turned this thing around, and let's have a look at these flowers first, because obviously that's why we're doing this video. These flowers are absolutely bizarre. Photos of these things don't do them any justice at all. So let's look at these things. They're hairy and red and orange and kind of folded, and the pollen would be in there, and yeah, they're sort of tightly closed up. They're very firm, very fuzzy and hairy, as you can see, and I'm a couple feet away from them. Right, I'm on the other side of the camera. I can't smell it anymore. It's not that strong. When I was holding it, I could definitely smell this, but yeah, so a little bit of care on this guy. It grows on the warm side. Oh, I just got a whiff of it. It grows on the warm side. It usually gets about one bulb a year. I think when I got this, it maybe had one or two bulbs, and they're sort of buried. They're tiny. The old bulbs are like way in here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I bet you I've had this guy 5 years, and it probably 4 years, and it came with 2 bulbs maybe. Just a rough guess. I unfortunately didn't put it on the tag, but yeah. So I have done other videos that have shown this plant before. One video that's entitled "The Funny Way I Grow Orchids," or something similar to that. I'm going to back the camera up so you can get a better look here. Has this orchid in, of course not in bloom. It is a big orchid. Look at the size of this leaf, and it's big, but it's not that big yet. It's going to get bigger now that it's blooming size anyways. But yeah, I figured I would mount this guy, but I wanted it to be mounted in a pot so it had lots of media. I didn't want it to be able to dry out like on a cork board or something like that. So what I've done is, there's actually 2 pots in here, and we're going to talk about that today because this gets kind of scary. There's a pot right here. You can kind of see just a black rim. That was a net pot, and that was from when it was like a baby and only had a few bulbs when I first got it. And I did the same thing. I mounted it and hung it this way. Its roots loved it and did really well in there. And then it got bigger and it was starting to poke out the sides, so I put it in a bigger pot, the pot you see now. And it's still hanging on its side. This pot is inside the big pot, wired at the top, so this pot's hanging in there, and then I packed media around it, which is how it's sort of staying in there. Plus the root growth has made it so it all stays in place very nicely. But it really had a dilemma for watering it, and so that is what you see up here. Let's see if I can. This bottle here, it's got a little cut out of the front because this bottle is got a hole. It goes inside of the pot here, just like so, and we're gonna straighten the tripod. That way, when I'm watering my plants, I can use a little stream of water and hit this, and it goes in and starts to fill this up with water, and it seeps into the pot. And this is a great way to water it and keep it wet. And so I did that I've done it like that for years. And another addition I did there is I call it a diaper that I put down below. This diaper I actually just made with tape, and what that does is it stops some of the water from pouring right out the bottom and catches a little bit of it. I took a piece of box tape and just put it over the bottom of the media there, so when the water goes down, it sort of sits in there for a little bit and has a chance to soak back up. It's never flooded or never like soggy. The water still drains out quite quickly, but it just gives it that little bit extra reservoir of water there to catch it before it falls out. And so it's obviously done okay. Just in the last few months, when I hooked up my drip irrigation system above our heads, I put the dripper in here. I'm pointing at the bottle up here, you can't quite see it. And so it kind of waters itself now as well. But the media is getting old. So as I say, I've had it for 4 years, and it probably spent 2 years in the small pot. Now it's been in this pot for 2 years, and I'm getting kind of scared about it. This is how people lose their big giant orchids, because they're too scared to repot them, and then the media goes sour. So I'm going to have to figure out in the next 6 months, I'm going to have to try to repot this guy. I'm obviously not doing it today, not in bloom, but I did decide what I am going to do, and I use this in all of my orchids a little bit. Hopefully you can see this mix. This is a dolomite and crushed oyster shell mix. My water is very soft and acidic here. I had 25 parts per million of total dissolved solids. Makes it very soft. And what I was finding is it makes my media break down quickly, and it makes it more acidic more quickly. And more acidic media is what kills the roots of these plants. So what I've decided to do today is I'm going to take some of this dolomite, and I'm mainly focusing on the crushed oyster shell, and I'm going to put some in here. It's not going to like a lot. I'm going to put 2 pinches in, and I'm going to put it in there. It can't go into the pot, it's got just a little opening there. And now every time I water, it's going to just go past a little bit of crushed oyster shell and a little bit of dolomite lime, and up the water's pH probably a very, very tiny amount, almost immeasurable, but it will help prolong some of those roots. And it also has the added advantage of giving some calcium and magnesium to the plants, so it's like fertilizing them as well. But yeah, so that's the only maintenance I'm going to do on this plant today. We can come in, have one more look at the flowers and the leaves. You'll notice the leaves are quite red on this, and even to the point of being blotchy. It's sunlight. This guy hangs up very high in the warm side of the greenhouse, and even though there's shade cloth on, the shade cloth basically misses this, and he gets direct sunlight for all year whenever it's sunny out in the noonday. So it's hot. He's well adjusted to it, but his leaves have definitely gone leathery. So maybe it's the extra light. Orchids, if they don't have enough light, don't bloom. So obviously it's got enough light now. Maybe it has too much light. Maybe it needs this much light to bloom. But I'm definitely putting it right back to where it was. See if we can get you a different angle of these guys. They're sort of elongated. They're long, and the flowers themselves are probably 2 inches or so. I'm not too scared to touch them. They're really sturdy and stocky. There's a good side view of it down there. But yeah, so the red leaves and the blotchy leaves, I really do chalk up to just too much sun. I don't think it's unhealthy in any way. And I guess after this, with it flowering, I don't know how long the flowers even last. But then it's going to start its new growth cycle, and it takes an entire year to get a leaf this big, basically. It takes 10 months anyways, and then it sort of rests. I wasn't sure when I seen this if it was just time for the new bulb to grow, because it hadn't grown a new bulb for a few months. This one had stopped growing, and I thought it might have been the new bulb, and I'm like, maybe it's an off chance that it's a bud, and it definitely was a bud for us. But yeah, so there we go. I've talked about watering. The media itself is very, very mossy. On the surface, it looks like 100% moss, sphagnum moss. I'm sure I do have a few bark chips in there, and those are going to be the first things to go sour, unfortunately, is the bark chips, if I did put them in there. I'm trying a new media. It's called Orchiata, and it's supposed to last for like 2 or 3 times as long as bark does. Instead of being fir bark, it's pine bark. It's totally clean. It's sterile. It's inoculated with good bacteria and stuff like that as well. So you should check out Orchiata, I think it is. Orchiata, sorry, is the product. And I'm going to probably do a video on it soon. Once I get it going in the greenhouse, I'm still using up my bucket of old chips, so I'm going to be switching over in the next few weeks to this new media, and we're going to see how it goes. I know it's been around for a while. It's tried and true. It has awesome reviews, but it would be perfect to put in here for just a longer lasting media, right? Because I don't want straight moss. But yeah, the bark is always what goes first. So now I've really rambled long enough. We have talked about the lighting, we have talked about the media, we have talked about the pot. We've talked about the stink of this flower that I can now smell from a couple feet away, so it is getting a little bit more pungent. Temperatures is on the warm side, so it doesn't really go below 68 Fahrenheit. That's like 18 Celsius. In the summertime, the temperatures in there reach upwards of 95, probably up that high in there. So that's gonna be like, I don't know, 35, pushing 40 Celsius. It gets hot up there for sure. And yeah, that is my Bulbophyllum Phalaenopsis orchid. I hope you liked this video, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And as always, thanks for watching.